The 3.5-hour epic, The Brutalist, harnesses stark visuals and austere set designs, evoking isolation, resilience, and raw human vulnerability. Audiences confront fear, hope, and empathy, sparking profound introspection beyond the screen. In the film, Laszlo Toth's real-life inspiration, drawn from production designer Judy Becker's work, is frequently compared to Marcel Breuer, the Bauhaus-trained Hungarian Jewish architect who immigrated to the United States and became synonymous with brutalist design. This comparison has raised eyebrows among architectural critics, especially concerning the problematic timelines and the stark differences in how these two Bauhaus émigrés are portrayed. One becomes a Harvard professor, the other ends up shoveling coal in Pennsylvania. What if, rather than viewing Laszlo's fictional character as derived from Marcel Breuer, we instead situate him in the actual Bauhaus context, with Marcel teaching and Laszlo as his student? This shift in perspective could significantly alter the conversation surrounding the film. In this 3-part series, I want to dive deeper into The Brutalist through the lens of an architect. In my next video, I'll explore why the film might not be about brutalism in the way we typically understand it. Then, in the 3rd video, I'll focus on the infamous community center and how its intended, or perhaps unintended outcome, could be a vehicle for an entirely different architectural movement. Within the film, Bauhaus Dessau is mentioned only once by Laszlo in a diner scene. But what exactly is Bauhaus Dessau, and how did it shape modern architecture and design? Founded in 1919 in Weimar, and later relocated to Dessau under Walter Gropius's directorship in 1925, the Bauhaus was a revolutionary institution. It challenged artistic and architectural conventions by merging craft with fine art, emphasizing functional design, and championing the use of modern industrial materials like steel tubing and reinforced concrete. Gropius's famed Dessau building embodied these ideals through large expanses of glass, open interior plans, and a minimalist approach that let function drive form. The Dessau era, 1925 to 1932, was the school's golden age, with masters like Ludwig Mies van der Rohe, Laszlo Moholy-Nagy, Paul Klee, Wasily Kandinsky, and Marcel Breuer, guiding students through workshops and hands-on projects. An emblematic example of Bauhaus innovation is the Dessau building's modular glazing system, designed to adapt to a variety of aperture sizes by relying on heavy subdivision. Smaller window panels are mechanically linked so they can open in a unified, easily operable manner, even at heights above a person's reach. This approach also ensures a visually consistent angle when multiple panels pivot open, giving the building both aesthetic cohesion and functional efficiency. That same principle of mechanical linkage and subdivided modules reappears in The Brutalist, where Laszlo Toth's library bookshelf mirrors the ingenuity of the Bauhaus windows. Much like the coordinated pivot of the Dessau glazing system, Toth's shelving units are linked through a single control point, offering uniform movement and consistent design clarity. Bauhaus Dessau's progressive ethos clashed with rising conservative forces, ultimately forcing the school to leave Dessau in 1932 and to close entirely in 1933 under Nazi pressure. Dispersing its influential faculty and students worldwide, the school nevertheless left an indelible mark on modern design. Among its legendary figures was Marcel Breuer, a Hungarian-born Jewish architect who studied at the Bauhaus in Weimar, became a master in Dessau, and revolutionized furniture design with tubular steel. His Wassily chair, named in honor of Bauhaus master Wassily Kandinsky, introduced a radical departure from bulky wooden frames in favor of sleek, polished steel, establishing Breuer as one of the movement's foremost innovators. In the film, the tubular furniture created by Laszlo Toth inevitably sparks comparisons with Breuer, yet it also raises the possibility that Laszlo's design could have been influenced by his master, Marcel. Breuer was born in 1902, joined the Bauhaus at age 18 in 1920, and became a master in 1924. If Laszlo Toth was born in 1911 and similarly joined the Bauhaus at age 18 in 1929, then it's plausible that Breuer was indeed his teacher, an idea that reframes the film's timeline and clarifies their distinct identities. When Bauhaus Dessau closed in 1932, Breuer moved to London in 1935 on the advice of Walter Gropius, while Laszlo, in this fictional narrative, returned to Budapest and achieved significant success designing public buildings. Their divergent paths after Dessau determined their fates, with Breuer meeting Erno Goldfinger in London and further refining his modernist vision, eventually following Gropius to teach at Harvard in 1937. Laszlo's journey was darker. In Nazi-occupied Hungary, both he and his wife Erzsébet, as a Jewish couple, were persecuted, forced into ghettos, and sent to Buchenwald concentration camp. Separated and enduring daily brutality, they survived in constant uncertainty. When the war ended, Laszlo immigrated to America in 1947, arriving at Ellis Island burdened by trauma, grief, and addiction. Too ashamed and fragile to reach out to Bauhaus colleagues for help, he drifted through various jobs until the Community Center Commission temporarily reignited his architectural aspirations. After a tragic train accident derailed that project, he was shown working as a draftsman at a large New York firm. Around this time, Marcel Breuer, who had opened his own office in New York in 1945, might well have employed his former student. By envisioning Laszlo as Marcel's student, the film dispels the lone genius myth often attributed to on-screen architects. His tubular chair is a clear nod to Breuer's original innovations, and the Harrison Library echoes Bauhaus training. What emerges instead is a portrait of a wounded émigré struggling to reconcile his past and rebuild in a new land, disappointing those who might expect a triumphant American dream. In the next video, we will follow Laszlo's path through the United States and try to understand what truly qualifies as brutalist architecture, drawing on the insights of Marcel Breuer and Erno Goldfinger. If you enjoyed a quiet side of architecture, where I want to explore the emotional impact of the design in the real and fictional worlds, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories about the spaces that shape us. I would love to hear your personal encounter with the space. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.